Hey friends, welcome back to the channel with more Westworld. This is Season 1, Episode 2. In case you didn't stick around for the commentary last time, we have the animated heroine editing these episodes, so thank you to her. And yeah, I'm excited to continue. Last time there was so much to think about, so many different things happening at once, and yeah, I don't have any predictions exactly for what happens next. There's a lot of possibilities where there's a lot of different ways they could go with this storyline, but I don't have a good read on where exactly they're going. It seems like they're definitely going to play up this sentience thing, and I'll be curious to see what these androids, these hosts are like after they gain sentience, and what their connection to their past selves will be. Anyway, guys, I'm excited to continue. If you guys want to watch the full reaction or you want to check out episodes a week early, you can check out Patreon in the link in the description below. Otherwise, let's get started. I know this actor on the left somewhere. Oh, they're going to Westworld. Okay.
The limit here is your imagination. You start in the center of the park. It's simple, safe. The further out you venture, the more intense the experience gets.
Interesting. That's something new we didn't know before.
So how does this work? Is there a orientation?
You want to ask, so ask.
Are you real?
Are you real?
Well, if you can't tell, does it matter? All our hosts are here for you, myself included.
Thank you. I don't want to keep my friend waiting.
Of course.
Look, we assumed that Abernathy's breach was triggered by the photograph that he found. Makes it all the way back home. It's like he's mulling it over.
You think he had an existential crisis?
Yeah.
Because if this is not a dissonant episode, then whatever Abernathy had could be contagious.
He's spreading. She remembers.
These violent delights have violent ends.
And she's back to normal? Or acting back to normal? All of this.
Which would you prefer?
Oh my god. Chidi. For those of you who have watched The Good Place, Chidi. I think the white goes better with this outfit, but I prefer black myself.
So how do we get into the park? This place is the answer to that question that you've been asking yourself. What question? Who you really are. And I can't fucking wait to meet that guy.
No. He's here to interfere. He's wearing black. Is there a color scheme that means something in this
Morning,
show?
Lawrence. I tell my man there to dig that grave a couple feet deeper.
Well, it's gonna be an awful tight fit for all of them.
Ooh. That was a very good line from someone I kind of detest already, but...
Your pal Kissy sent me your way. Sends his regards.
Kissy?
What is this?
You gonna help me find the entrance?
You're gonna torture him too? No. Oh.
Do you know what it said?
Oh.
I'm sorry, will you please excuse me?
You can be whoever the fuck you want.
Pupillary response is good. Smile is good. I'd fuck her.
Huh. They're being treated as disposable.
You think it's sabotage? You imagine someone's been diddling with our creations? It's the simplest solution.
I theorize it could be
Mr.
Ford,
Occam's razor.
possibly. They arrived.
Let's go get our feet wet, buckaroo.
future of this great nation.
This is different.
We fight for a free land.
Thank you, my friend.
Don't. I'm only trying to rope you into some bullshit treasure hunt.
It's his first time. Let him do what he wants. Man, let him experience the way he's experienced it. You've already been here multiple times.
And you haven't told anyone about our little talks.
You told me not to.
But there's something different about you. About the way you think. I find it fascinating, but others may not see it that way.
I told you, never open your mouth that wide unless someone's paying you for it. You find yourself in a bad dream. Close your eyes. Count backwards from 3. Wake yourself right up.
I think we have a problem.
Where?
Mariposa. Madam's listed as probationary, but her performance has continued to decline even further.
Maybe leave her on the floor for the night. See if anyone wants one last turn. We recall her in the morning. Decommission her.
Shit. Don't make eye contact.
He's gonna shoot him.
I have in my possession a map.
Are you lost?
No. Just strayed a bit too far. Taking a walk. You're welcome to join me if you like.
You have any idea who I am?
I know exactly who you are, Lawrence. After all, you and I are friends. You're home. You never told me you had a family.
Duh.
You know why this beats the real world, Lawrence? The real world is chaos.
What do you want from me?
The maze. How do I find the entrance? And you get to decide what we're going to do with them.
This guest already took out an entire posse. Want me to slow him down?
That gentleman gets whatever he wants.
Whoa.
Like I said, you get to decide these two.
Oh my god.
That's why I like the basic emotion.
The maze isn't meant for you.
Huh.
What'd I tell you, Lawrence? No. You don't understand, Lawrence. This time, I'm never going back.
Huh.
Is it magic?
Everything in this world is magic, except to the magician.
No.
No.
I was a little unsure.
QA told us she was being decommissioned.
Do you work for QA?
No, but...
Run a fast pass diagnostic? Little cognitive D. And a fuckload of aggression courtesy of those morons in narrative. Archive this configuration. Open up her primaries. Perception. Emotional acuity. Bump it.
Like sliders.
Do they dream?
Modify.
What?
In her story, she said she dreamed. Do we make them dream?
Fuck would be the point of that? All right, gorgeous. You're back to the races. Do you know what it said? It said, this is the new world. You can be whoever the fuck you want.
And the woman before said, why the fuck would we make them dream? Oh no, this is... Oh. I thought she was a little girl. Oh! Holy crap. She was just nearly scalped. Is this a past simulation? Past story? And it's him. He's everywhere.
You just glop that shit on and rinse.
Should she
You understand? Soap is
not be awake at this point?
Fuck are you talking?
Shut her off! Oh! Do they not know the code word to... And she's loose. Imagine you think you're real and you see this for the first time.
I swear I put it in sleep mode.
Looking for his approval.
No.
No?
Sorry?
Something they fall in love with.
Dolores.
They already know who they are.
You promised them a new storyline.
They shall have one. Something I've been working on for some time.
I've never seen anything quite like this, but I assumed it was a mausoleum. I want to watch these one after the other, non-stop, but I can't. Thankfully, with the animated heroine editing, I can get through these a little faster. So this time we get confirmation that Westworld is not a virtual reality type deal, which in the end makes sense. I was saying that the evidence for a virtual world was mostly the terminology of the hosts talking about dreams, and the other big part was that when guests are shot, there is like visible impact on their clothing. So yeah, you see the movement of their clothes and stuff, but the guests don't even seem to react, and yet it makes real holes when you shoot hosts. That's a little confusing, but I'm sure we'll address that in the future as well. But we get to see what it was like for someone coming into Westworld for the very first time, and it was fascinating to watch. I actually recognized both actors. The nicer guy, William Billy, I couldn't place where I knew him from for a while, but I finally figured it out. I've seen him in How I Met Your Mother. He's the one playing Edward 40 Hands and eventually makes Marshall become Beer Achilles again. And the friend I know is from The Punisher. He's Billy Russo, Frank Castle's war buddy. Anyway, it's cool to always cool to see actors you're familiar with in new roles. But yeah, I don't actually know Billy Russo. I don't know his friend's name, but he mentioned that his sister rode a lot of cowboys when she came here, and this was right after telling Billy to stay safe. So a little confused as to why he would bring that up in that moment. But yeah. I also had a question I had from last episode answered as well. I was theorizing that there were possibly hosts among the staff at Westworld posing as real humans, and there essentially are. The woman welcome Billy wound up being a host. Still, my theory was revolving more around that it's possible that Ford or even someone else might have secret hosts playing the part of real humans. So, like, staff. So, my first thought actually goes to the couple revealed in this episode, Bernie and Teresa. Because they're so emotionally connected, it would be a heck of a thing if one of them is revealed to be a host. It would feel like an ultimate betrayal. The reveal would blow the other person's mind. I don't know if there are any other couples that we know of in Westworld yet. I don't think so. But yeah. Anyway, I guess it's also possible if the hosts gain sentience that they could start creating hosts, or if even replacing actual humans working at Westworld with androids, or possibly even replacing guests and then having them return to their actual lives. That would be insane. Maybe I shouldn't speculate too much in case any of the stuff kind of winds up happening. But yeah, that host who was talking Billy through his choice of clothing, he asked her if she was real, and she said that if he couldn't tell, does it matter? And yeah, the hosts were there for the guests no matter what. She offered to sleep with him, essentially. We know that Billy's friend winds up sleeping with his host before entering Westworld. We see him like zipping up right before getting on the train. It was a room, and then it turned into a train. But yeah, what I was really intrigued by is the choice of hat. Because first, Billy was offered the choice between all the hats. It reminded me of Chidi from The Good Place being given a choice of a black hat and a white hat, and it was taking him forever to choose what he thought was the correct one. But yeah, so far, we've seen his Billy's friend, and we've seen Ed Harris's character both wear black hats, and we all know there's like a common trope of the light side versus the dark side. So I'm just curious to see if the choice in color of hat means anything for characters, specifically human characters, because Teddy wears a black hat too, but he's an android, so that doesn't count, I guess. Though it could, I guess, if he's secretly a bad guy, a bad or a deviant android host. But yeah, Billy's friend, so annoying. First of all, this is like Billy's first time here. Let him do what he wants. But he just wanted another excuse to come to Westworld and do what he wanted to do. Like, it's not just with Westworld. When you're introducing something cool to someone, you let them experience it on their own terms, unless they specifically want you to walk you through it. And then the friend says this place is the answer to who you really are, and he's not letting him be himself. Like, what the heck? He's like, oh, don't mess with that. It's going to lead to a storyline, which is part of the experience, but he just wants to, I don't know, drink and have sex. And he says he couldn't wait to meet the guy that Billy truly was, but he just wants someone like himself to bro out with, honestly. And Billy tells that one sex worker that she's perfect, but he has someone real waiting for him at home. So I'm curious if he'll change in his time here. He does seem to have a moment with Dolores, but we'll see. One thing I did take notice of is that they changed who was giving the quest to go after Hector Escaton. The quest itself was different. They're fighting for free land, for a free land, rather than hunting down Escaton. So I don't know if this is Sizemore setting up for his new scenario, but then we find out later that he's been rejected, so I don't know. Maybe somebody made some choice at some point to change it up. But yeah, meanwhile, Dolores had a deep voice telling her to wake up in the middle of the night. Bernie says they cleared her after her father interacted with her, but incorrectly cleared her of that. She goes on to say the words that her father said to Maeve: "These violent delights have violent ends." And I feel like I've heard that line somewhere before, but I can't quite place it. And I'm afraid to Google it in case I run into spoilers. Anyway, I think the words themselves might have an effect on the hosts, it seems like. Like, after it was so to Dolores, she slapped that fly at the end of the last episode, and then she's continuing to act weird this episode. And it also can't be a coincidence that Maeve heard that from Dolores and then did some crazy stuff this episode too. By the way, Maeve's line to Dolores earlier, like, "Can you stand somewhere else? I don't want anyone thinking that you're a representative of the goods inside." That's, I don't know, that's in some way very comical. And then later, to the other sex worker, "Never open your mouth that wide unless someone's paying you for it." My God. Her lines are just so amusing. But yeah, she tells her how to wake herself up from a bad dream. Close your eyes, count backwards from 3, and wake yourself up. And yeah, we see her telling guests a particular story about wanting to be free, but hearing a voice telling her not to do certain things, and that the only place she could be herself was in her dreams. So yeah, she could be as good as bad or she wanted to be, and so she ran away, crossing the shining sea, only to land and hear the voice again. And she's about to continue the story, but she's interrupted by memories of something. It seems like it's a previous day's memories. And we cut to someone running diagnostics on her, and she continues that the voice said, "This is the new world, and in this world you can do whatever the fuck you want." So as far as words to get someone into bed with you, those are pretty strong, pretty well thought out, pretty alluring. And the person working on her wants to get her numbers back up, or she'll be decommissioned with Sizemore's new storyline. And they decide to bump up her aggression. That was clearly very clearly not the problem. And yeah, they said that if it didn't work, they'd put her back to behavior. So they treat androids as disposable, which makes sense because they don't know they're sentient, but it can't, if they do gain sentience, it can't be good for when they do, because to be treated so cavalierly, they're gonna want revenge, possibly. But yeah, eventually the young female staffer, whose name I still don't know, bumps her emotional acuity instead, and that works out really well. But it turns out she also has some physical discomfort, and they have a look at her after, where she's supposedly put to sleep. But yeah, in the meantime, while she's asleep, she's having nightmares. The imagery of her almost getting scalped is terrifying. She had a daughter too she was trying to save. But yeah, that moment when the host passes across the window and it becomes Ed Harris, oh, that was really well done. So her memories of being scalped are intertwined with what the story is and what Ed Harris did. That's really fascinating. But yeah, she does what she told the other sex worker to do when she's having nightmares, just to wake up, and she wakes up in the middle of on the operating table. Is that the right term for a non-human? Is operating table, I don't know. Either way, she wakes up, and the people working on her, didn't they know the words that were used on Dolores? Like, soon this will all feel like a distant dream. Until then, may you rest in a deep and dreamless slumber. She, like, they didn't say that to her, so she clearly just kept going. And she sees a lot before they catch up with her and take her down. If I was her, I'd be freaking the hell out too. And I don't know how much she's going to remember from that. And the fact that they were like, oh, maybe no one will find out, that means she might get put back into this world with those memories already implanted. So that's going to be a heck of a thing. We also have a secret conversation between Bernie and Dolores too. Curious what Bernie's role is in all of this. And we have Ed Harris continuing his rampage, saving a host from execution so he could torture more information out of him and try to find the deeper meaning to all of this, to the maze on Kissy's scalp. And he says he loves this world because the real world is chaos, and here everything is intentional, which really adds to the whole idea that there are no chance encounters that was mentioned in the first episode. But yeah, what's really interesting is that in the control room, after he took everybody out, someone said this gentleman gets whatever he wants. So is he some sort of VIP of some sort, like a frequent flyer kind of thing? They don't want to upset him, it seems like. And that kind of possibly rules out my speculation that he's here to do corporate espionage and like build a different world to be a competing corporation, but who knows at this point. And yeah, he says he's been coming here for 30 years, that he was essentially born here. And in fact, I mean, the fact that he says that he's never leaving again means that he probably isn't a corporate spy also. But he shot the wife in the head. I get that they're not really suffering, except with some of these hosts gaining sentience, they are kind of suffering. So I don't know if he changes his mind, changes the way he's been acting after he finds that out, or if he already knows somehow. But yeah, Billy's friend was saying how this place kind of reveals who you truly are. So if Ed Harris felt like he was truly born here in Westworld, who was he before? And what in here changed him to be the man he is today? I feel like I need a flashback episode to see how he became the person he is. But yeah, all his torture finally unlocked something in the daughter, telling him the maze isn't meant for him, which is really interesting. Who is it meant for then? But yeah, Dolores winds up digging up a gun, which, what the heck? Was that also left here by a guest? Or, I don't know. But yeah, Ford comes upon a boy who has wandered too far while he's walking in Westworld. Kind of guessed that the little boy was a host, but yeah, the show played with that possibility for a while. I feel like we'll get a lot more of that with them playing, like, oh, is this a host or a guest? But yeah, Ford leads him to like a black monument. I'm not sure what it is exactly. But But then we also get Sizemore's new design, his new storyline. Definitely wasn't cutting it. It was fun seeing Ford shut him down because, yeah, Sizemore, Ed Harris, and Billy's friend are the most unlikable characters at this moment in time. And Ford describes what is most powerful for those who come to Westworld. It's not the parlor tricks of an adventure, but they come for the subtleties and the details, the exact opposite of what Sizemore was talking to Teresa about last time. He was saying that he wanted to scale things back and revert to older updates and make it so that they're not as real. So there are conflicting ideologies here, conflicting theories of what works and what doesn't. I loved how he was like, isn't there something you liked about it? And he winds up taking the boots with him back to Westworld, to the same black monument thing that was he was looking at before. And this time he goes with Bernie. Bernie talks about how they promised a storyline to the board, and Ford says that he's been working on one already for a very long time, something quite original. Curious how that'll play out, how it'll be affected by these hosts gaining sentience. So yeah, lots and lots happening these first few episodes. Looking forward to watching more, definitely. I feel like this is a very mind-bendy series. So yeah, looking forward to watching more. If you guys want to watch the full reaction, or if you want to watch episodes a week early, you can check out Patreon in the link in the description below. Otherwise, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time.